Hey guys, welcome back to the Hit the Books podcast here with season 4, episode 50, August 27th here. Mackie and I on the pod today. The Yinzers are out. Mackie, how you doing today? We got a good slate of stuff. A lot of leagues are rolling, and we got the football season just around the corner. We're in week 0 right now. I know you had some good fantasy football drafts, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, dog days are officially over. We get college football this week. We get NFL next week. So, obviously, it's what we've been kind of waiting for. The MLB kind of slowing everything down. But yeah, other than that, we got a Ryder Cup coming up at the end of the month, and yeah, Mets playing a little better. Sox are playing good. Pirates still being the Pirates, but baseball's cooking up as well.
Yeah, and if you guys aren't aware, Mackie and I have a friendly wager. I guess you could say Huff's in on it too, but we took our baseball teams to see who would finish with the best record at the end of the regular season this year. I thought it was to go the furthest, so at first I was looking a little shaky, but these past few months, my Red Sox really turned it up, and now we got a good race here between the Red Sox and Mets to see who finishes with more wins. Hopefully, both our teams can clinch the playoffs, and who knows, maybe we even get a World Series matchup. But that one's pretty fun. Pirates pretty far behind. Like Mackie said, though, some great NFL starting up here. I got my fantasy drafts. They got 3 in the next week. I know you had some the other day. You had some good picks there, so we'll definitely talk about a little bit of football here. Some of the latest moves. A lot of teams announcing their rosters as final cuts were just underway. Like you said, college football starts off with that great game between Texas and Ohio State. We had some college football last week too. That was pretty fun. I don't know if you threw that on your TV. And then we got some news out of the NHL, and like you said, golf's pretty hot as well. And then I did want to give one quick plug to start the pod here. What about Rajon Rondo being the number 1 ranked flag football quarterback by Instagram users?
Yeah, I want to say who ranks these guys? Like, what makes him the number one flag football? Who's in charge of making these rankings? I did see some highlights though. Ugly throw, but they're
Yeah.
pretty good, pretty
Yeah, they were
precise.
dots. The release was crazy looking, but I guess he's used to throwing a
He's
basketball. But
he's no yeah, it's what he's known for. So
I guess there's got to be some college guys that were playing D1 NCAA that didn't. There's so many football leagues. Though. So one thing you got to remember: either guys stop playing, or they're going to play in a lot of these minor leagues throughout the U.S. or in Canada, playing practice squad or whatnot too. So I mean, there's got to be someone else out there. But I thought it'd be pretty funny to throw that Rajon Rondo note in there, seeing that all over social media. All right, so let's jump into the NFL here first. I know that's what everybody is really getting ready with. I think we'll save our top 5 teams heading into the season for the end here, Mackie. Let's start off with some of this news here. Um, a lot of stuff coming about. We were talking about Terry McLaurin a few weeks ago. Was he going to leave? You got your Micah Parsons situation still up in the air. I saw him sitting on the table and watching Cowboys games, not looking too great. But the Washington Commanders were able to reach a deal with their star to avoid shipping him elsewhere or him sitting out, as Terry McLaurin agreed to a 3-year, $96 million contract on Monday. Nice extension by the Commanders. Jaden Daniels gets his guy back, and he's one of the star receivers in the league. What do you think about this move?
yeah, obviously, the trade request was kind of just like pulling their arm there, just get this done or I'm out. But obviously, he wanted to stay in Washington. He wanted to stay with Jaden Daniels after that year that they just had, and he has Deebo Samuel aside him this year. So, a lot less attention will go to him. Obviously, I think he's still wide receiver 1, but to get some help on the other side, it's gonna be a lethal Washington offense this year, I think.
Yeah, especially after going to the NFC Championship last year, like you said. I mean, he stuck through it for a while. Guys like Sam Howell throwing him the ball, a plethora of names, Heineke, some even other ones that are slipping my mind right now. But you're right. I think it was just a ploy to make sure he got his money. He really enjoys being there. He loves playing with Jaden Daniels, like we saw last year, just electrifying. And I know it's kind of tough to pay these wide receivers a tough position to play. We saw the Bengals do it, and they can't afford a defense. We saw you guys do it with Lamb and all your other skill positions on offense. Now you're in that tough spot with Micah Parsons. But I think this Commanders team, they're pretty young on both sides of the ball. They had to pay somebody some big money, and it makes sense that goes to Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry staying in Washington, looking to have a repeat season like last year in the NFC East, and I just can't imagine what this offense would have been like without him. I know Debo's there, like you said, but they're going thin on running back now, moving Brian Robinson to the Niners and having Bill Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, one of the biggest names in fantasy drafts right now, take over the lead role. But McLaurin's going to be getting over 1,000 yards, I think, this year. I think his line set at 1,000.5. So you taking the over on that one?
Yeah, right. I think it was 1,500, but yeah, right around there.
Yeah,
I mean, they're also in a situation where they don't have to pay a quarterback just yet, so they have a little extra money to throw around because Jaden Daniels is still on that rookie contract, right?
yeah, definitely. He's only in his second year here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that whole defense, too. I mean, Sam Ristel, a lot of those guys on the defensive side, pretty young as well. And their running back room is pretty cheap, too. Probably the highest paid guy, I would guess, is Austin Eckler, as Merritt wasn't a high pick. But this Commanders team, I expected a
I do think they take a little step back. I
yeah, I
think
was gonna say that. I
they
expect
ov
regression.
they definitely over I mean, I wouldn't say regression. I mean, if you look at the regular season last year, they weren't really anybody to worry about until they got into the playoffs. I'm not sure if they snuck into the playoffs or not, but, I,
There's a wild card seed.
yeah, they were a wild card. I forget how many games they had, either 10 or how many games they won, either 10 or, 11, but get into the playoffs, get a few, pesky wins, and, you get to see an NFC championship game with them in it, so obviously, they overachieved last year. I don't think they're gonna get back there this year, but, I mean, just being a playoff team for Washington, I mean, with the last 10 years that they've had is good football for them.
Yeah, obviously a lot of the stardom goes to Jaden Daniels. That defensive side of the ball, guys like Wagner and Lattimore coming over to help out with those young studs they add on the outside is really nice to see. But I really think it was the coaching change. They brought in the head coach and the offensive coordinator. I believe it's Dan Quinn, right? Alongside Cliff Kingsbury as the OC spot. I mean, it's just a great mix of talent they had there. But they're in one of the toughest divisions. I expect your Cowboys to bounce back. I like their ad of George Pickens, and if Dak Prescott can stay healthy, he is actually one of the better quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. So I expect them to keep going, and I expect the Eagles to be strong.
We gotta get Mike on the field too.
Yeah, that's crazy that we're still this close to the season. He's holding out. We saw another move here. We'll talk about is Trey Hendrickson signing was a big deal. We all knew he was going to stay with the Bengals. They really needed to. They addressed their defense by getting through contract negotiations with Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart, their first round pick. I thought that was a pretty big move by the Bengals to keep him around because without those two guys, I mean that defense is pretty thin. We know what they have on the offensive side
Thin
of the
as it
ball.
is.
Yeah, that offense is going to put up big numbers. I picked Barr to win the MVP this year. Look at Jamar Chase to get the Offensive Player of the Year. Clean sweep of the offensive awards from the Bengals is very, very much possible. But you got to get some pressure on the QB with that weak secondary, weak defensive front. So Hendrickson and Stewart, big moves there. I think keeping him is awesome. But they're going to have to look to extend him, I think, too, because it's just a 1-year bridge deal, right?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna want more down the line, so it's just a filler for now, but, I mean, he's a guy you need on that defense, especially with how like you said, how thin it is already. Can't lose him.
Yeah, and they're in a tough conference. You know, you have the Bills, Josh Allen, you have the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, and a bunch of other budding teams. My Patriots hoping to make some noise. The Texans are still really good. Chargers, Broncos, even the Steelers, and obviously you have the Ravens too. But good plays by the Bengals to keep their guy around. One of the best pass rushers in the league, I think, too. So happy to see him stay on the Bengals. We'll see them in the prime time a lot, and hopefully they can get those points down, getting scored against them. Another move here, kind of looking like we're in 2015 a little bit. We saw Keenan Allen go back to the Chargers. We see Brandon Cooks back with the Saints, and now Amari Cooper and the Raiders have agreed on a 1-year deal worth 3.5 million. He has some bonuses included too, 500K and 2 million in incentives. So the maximum value is 6 million for him on a 1-year deal. Going to join Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, Ashton Genty, and Brock Bowers. Oh yeah, they have Jacoby Myers on the outside too. They're looking to trade him. So maybe this is kind of a sign that Jacoby Myers is in fact going to get dealt. They have Brady at the helm running their GM office. So that's pretty funny to see too. But what do you think about AC coming back? No more AC/DC as Geno Smith's the quarterback, no more Derek Carr. But I still think he's a good receiver, kind of bounced around the last few years. And I expect him to be a pretty significant part of this offense as a second fiddle behind Brock Bowers in the pass catching game.
Yeah, I mean, they have their weapons now. You have Ashton Genty in the backfield. You assume he's gonna have a good year. You have Brock Bowers, obviously, tight end 1 in fantasy last year, huge rookie season, and, now you have your wide receiver 1 who's obviously not who he used to be, but, I mean, you can't really go wrong with Amari Cooper, and if Geno Smith plays to what he played last year, I know it wasn't the best football ever, but if you get that out of Geno Smith, you're getting your money's worth, so, not gonna say the Raiders are gonna be anyone to reckon with this year, but it's not a easy win on your schedule anymore.
Yeah, and then another piece there with the Jacoby Myers, probably heading out the door. I could see him going to maybe San Francisco or the Chiefs. A lot of these guys that have been cut, I think, could end up in those spots. I think he was a great receiver, but the fact that he's requesting a trade really sparked this move to come over. And Geno Smith, really rebounded his career. They wrote him off, like he said. We saw him flipping people off in his first game as a Raider. The stands there, and Max Crosby loves having him aboard. I think he'll be able to help get Cooper involved right away and pick up where he left off, leaving the Bills and I believe the Browns in his previous 2 seasons, and of course your Cowboys as well, right?
Sorry, you broke up there. What'd you say at the end?
Yeah, so Amari Cooper, didn't he play for your Cowboys for a little bit
Yeah,
there
yeah,
too?
he was wide receiver 1 for a minute, yeah.
Yeah, before you got your big names back in there, but He was decent in Cleveland, tough situation. Didn't get as many looks as I thought he would have in Buffalo, but that's a crowded rumor. Josh Allen likes to spread the ball, but I think he'll definitely be getting at least 5 targets a game here on this offense. Although they do
Yeah, for
have
sure,
a
for sure.
sleeper that we'll get to our sleepers a little bit here for fantasy purposes, but Dante Thornton Jr., the 6'5" receiver coming out of college, the rookie, I think he's going to play a significant role in that offense too, playing alongside Amari Cooper would definitely help out. So we'll have to see how this Raiders team will be. My
What do you got
Patriots
him
team in
at?
week
You're
one,
talking them up here. What do you got him at? How many wins?
the Raiders, I don't think too many. I think they'll be a bit more competitive than they were the last few years. They had very weak quarterback play. Aiden O'Connell coming around a lot. Um, they also went and traded for Kenny Pickett as a nice backup to Geno Smith. I think those Browns, they signed all those quarterbacks. I think Huntley they ended up releasing. Now they're trading Kenny Pickett for a fifth rounder, a 2026 fifth rounder to the Raiders. So not a bad core. I don't think they're going to make too much noise. They're in probably the toughest division in football, if not one of them, with the Chargers and Broncos really stepping up their game the last 2 years, bringing Harbaugh and Bo Nix, Sean Payton to compete with those Chiefs in the AFC West. But this Raiders team, we'll see. We'll get a good emphasis on them week one. My Patriots have big expectations this season. We should be able to handle business against them, but they have a lot of different options on offense now, something we haven't seen from the Raiders in a while. So could be the first time Vegas can actually put up a little bit of points in the black and silver. Another move here, well, not really a move here. Another note here is Joe Mixon. I mean, a lot of people have been worried about him throughout the whole offseason. They brought in Nick Chubb. We saw that as a little safety valve. That's not a bad replacement to see. But now that he's been put on the pup list for the first 4 weeks of the season, he's going to be out. The team made the move official on Monday. I saw a quote today that their coach said he doesn't even know if he's going to play at all this year. So be wary if you're
I saw
drafting him as a
4
stash.
weeks.
Yeah, that's the initial
Oh,
thought. But
they
then
it's he's being reevaluated in 4 weeks?
yeah, he's being reevaluated, but their coach seemed pretty weary today when asked about is Mixon going to be able to play. They're like, I don't know. I really hope he is because he's one of the most electrifying running backs in the league, in my opinion.
It's a guy
And
you don't wanna lose.
no, and this Texas team really relied on him heavily last year with the injuries to Dell and Diggs and Collins. I know they got Collins back. They drafted that receiver Higgins as well on the outside. And like I said, you do have Nick Chubb to carry the load, but he's kind of past his prime, in my opinion, coming off those injuries.
It's not that I mean, he's past his prime is a good way to put it, yeah, but I mean, that injury, obviously, you can't carry a full workload after coming back from something like that.
Yeah, and he's not the do-it-all running back that Joe Mixon is. How valuable he was in the pass game, the run game, and then of course getting into the end zone when they get to that red area. So sad to see for Joe Mixon, one of my favorite running backs in the league. So hopefully he can come back soon. Hopefully he can strap on those pads because I know I'm drafting him as a little stash piece, keeping him on my IR later in fantasy rounds. They should be going, but hopefully he does end up suiting up for these Texans, who I think have a bright future this season. A little slump from CJ Stroud last year, obviously without his top targets getting there. They still ended up winning their division and making the playoffs. I think they're going to do that again this year. They got a very strong defense, young, up and coming, a nice coach that's been pretty solid for them since he's taken over. So expect them to get back to their ways, even without Mixon, but definitely a big spot if you cannot have him as a part of the mix. And perhaps the easiest division in the NFL, I might say, the AFC South, that is. Um, Couple of notes here that I wanted to call out. Like I said, Dante Thornton Jr., one of those sleepers I have on the list. I mean, he's 6'5" on the outside. He's going to get premier looks, especially if they move Jacoby Myers. And Geno Smith likes to spread the ball. We saw what he did last year in Seattle, getting JSN involved and Lockett and all those different guys. Who are some of your other sleepers? I think someone that I have on my list, Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end out of the Colts, I think is going to be a nice piece. He's going to be a great safety valve for Daniel Jones. They're going to look to get their tight end the ball a bit more.
Mhm.
Gronk even talking him up. I think Bill from the Redskins, they moved on from Brian Robinson Jr., which was crazy to me. I know Eckler is solid, but he's going to take on the starters load. I know they're going to probably split a bit there. I think Bryce Young's a nice sleeper too in fantasy drafts, going pretty late. I
Yeah,
expect him to have a big year. A guy that you were pretty low on a few years ago, turned it up in the
for
second
good
half
reason.
last year.
I for good reason. I took my words back when he started playing a little better, but, yeah, I think Bryce Young has a great chance of succeeding this year, especially in that division, but I don't know. One guy I'm looking at, Mika Egbuka down in Tampa. I think
Stud,
obviously with that
stud.
offense, I know he's not much of a sleeper, but rookie wide receiver coming in with a guy who likes to sling the football, so I think he can be putting up those points this year.
Yeah, he was showing out in, preseason and training camp too, all those highlight reel catches. He was on Ohio State, of course, one of the top 2 wide receiver factories in college, and with Chris Godwin out, and then we saw Jalen McMillan take that tough injury as well. He's gonna be playing second fiddle. Mike Evans, who demands a lot of coverage, and Baker likes to spread the rock. I expect him to have a huge, huge season. And then what's his name? Tez Johnson ended up making the team too. He's pretty electrifying. That Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, man, is just dynamite. I could see a huge year from Baker Mayfield here.
Again, yeah. He's gotta limit the turnovers, and he's good.
One of the easiest guys to be a fan of in the NFL, in my opinion, Baker Mayfield. Resilient, that drive he led for the Rams to really put his career back on track, and he got paid the money, and now he's
Got
just
him
showing
paid,
out.
man.
Yeah, taking
One
over for
drive got him
Tom
paid.
Brady. Tom Brady changed the culture of that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Now they're just a winning franchise that it has their eyes set on another NFC South crown. But yeah, if you guys are listening to this, let us know in some of your comments. Let us know in our Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be, who you're looking at for sleepers this year. Definitely looking at a lot of these rookies to make some noise. Maybe Dylan Sampson up there in Cleveland as well, with
Ricky
Judkins sitting
Pearsall
out.
having a good year too. I know he's not a rookie, but no Brandon Ayuk this year.
Yeah, a lot of question marks. Juwan Jennings too. I know they went and got Sky Moore. I could see Kendrick Bourne getting over there potentially too. That's another point I have here. We just saw the 53-man rosters. A lot of interesting cuts. Guys like KJ Hamlet, Hunter Renfrow, Kendrick Bourne. A lot of teams like the Steelers are looking for a wide receiver too behind DK Metcalf. The Chiefs are always looking to add. And the Ravens, those 49ers, I think are going to make a big play. Bourne used to play there. I still think he's a solid receiver. I could see him ending up somewhere. And Renfrow making his return in the NFL, getting cut after the preseason. Any other names stand out to you from these roster cuts that you think could go elsewhere?
No, I don't. Not big news. Do you see Danny DeVito or not Danny DeVito? Tommy
Tommy
DeVito.
DeVito coming to my
Tommy DeVito
Patriots.
over to the Patriots. Yeah, kicking the dick for those Giants. But I don't know. How do you feel about that signing? I don't think he's terrible. I think he could be. He's probably not your backup, right? He'd be a third string.
Well, yeah, we have Josh Dobbs, and he's a little bit on the older side. I think Tommy DeVito is one of the better backup quarterbacks in this league. He stepped into a lot of moments and shown glimpses of being good. He's very mobile in the pocket, and he has a lot of hype around him. Still really young too, so why not take a flyer on a guy like this? You know, Drake May's your guy. He's not competing for the job, but to have him in the quarterback room is not a bad thing. It's good to have three on the roster
And
as well.
honestly, with that Giants offensive line last year, for him to even do what he did, I mean, kind of impressive. You get him in front of a better line, maybe he can make some noise. Obviously, he's not going to be playing with Drake May, but God forbid something happens to him. You have a guy that can step in, maybe win a game or two.
Yeah, definitely. Not a bad guy to bring in. I was surprised that the Giants cut him, but that quarterback room so deep. I mean, you got Russell Wilson, you got Jameis Winston, of
Yeah,
course,
what are they going to do
Jackson
at that
Dart, who
point?
is.
You're not going to get rid of Jackson.
We saw how good Jackson Dart looked in the preseason, and how high he was drafted. I wonder if he'll get some starts this year. Well, that's to be seen. Wouldn't hurt him to sit for a year, kind of like Mahomes did, but his skill is definitely there, and they're ready to go. But with all these moves, I think we can get into our big topic of the day, our positional ranking. But this one's going to be the team ranking here. Mackie, let me know who your top 5 teams are coming into this season.
I'm going off the dome here, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna free ball it. I'm gonna go 1 to 5. I'll go. You got to go defending champs one,
Wow.
right? Don't you have to?
I mean,
I'll
I
go
could see a
Eagles
little bit of
1.
regression. They lost some players. They added to the offense, but
You
they
still
still have
have all the
enough.
yeah, you still have all the key players. Eagles 1, best offensive line in the league. Obviously, they have that
Strong
system.
defense too.
Yeah, strong defense. They have all the weapons on offense. It's hard to go against them. I'll go Eagles 1. I'll go 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. I think it can go any which way.
Top 3 QBs. Yep.
But I'm gonna go those three, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, with for obvious reasons. But you just gotta see Lamar be a little more effective in the playoffs, and I
Mhm.
think that he can. Ravens should be too, honestly, with everything said and done. And fifth team, am I missing someone obvious right now? Maybe
No,
the
there's a lot of
Lions.
teams you could put there. Yeah, that's not a bad pick. I mean, look how good they were last year. I'm eager to see, though. They just lost their offensive and defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, moving on to the Jets, I believe, and Ben Johnson going to the Bears. So can Dan Campbell do it on his own? He has all the skill on both sides of the ball. Nice little pick in Isaac Tesla. You get Aiden Hutchinson back as well. I mean, that team's poised for success with how deep their roster is, and Jameer Gibbs looking to make an even bigger jump this season. But yeah, that's a good list. Coming in, I have a lot of those same teams in my top 5. And number 1, though, I am going to put Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs there. I know they had the tough year last year, but they're still the team that everybody has their eyes on, in my opinion. How many years in a row does this team go to the Super Bowl? 3 in a row, always in that AFC Championship game, bona fide. But like we said before, they do have a very tough division. Those Chargers behind Harbaugh and Herbert are really coming along, and then those Broncos with Bo Nix and Sean Payton are looking strong too, although a sophomore slump might be in Bo Nix's future to be determined. So I got the Chiefs at 1. I've got the Ravens at 2. On paper, they're a really good team. Like you said, they got to get over the hump and
Gotta get over the hump in the
beat those
playoffs.
Mahomes in the playoffs. Same with the Bills. But I got the Ravens at 2. That roster top to bottom, led by Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They brought in D Hop alongside Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. You got Andrews and Likely, and then Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton ain't that big deal too. Another signing we didn't really mention. I think is a 4-year, over $100 million deal. He's a perennial Pro Bowler for years to come. They added Jair Alexander on the outside with Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins too. So that team's going to be very strong once again. I got the Ravens at the 2, defending champion Eagles at 3, although I think they could face some pressure from your Cowboys if they can stay healthy. And of course, those Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them, are a very strong team in the NFC East as well. So we got Chiefs, Ravens, Eagles for me. At 4, I'm going to go with the Bills. Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. I mean, that duo, they re-signed James Cook too. Yeah, there's some question marks in the receiving room. I think Keon Coleman steps up a little bit. Josh Palmer looks like a nice add. Kincaid take another step forward. That defense always plays strong under McDermott. A lot of young guys like Gregory Rousseau that are going to be having strong years. So they'll be at my 4 spot. And at the 5, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. I know their defense is brutal, and I've kind of been against them, but I'm expecting a big season from them. I think they're going to push the Ravens for that AFC North crown. I could see both teams putting up 11, 12 wins this year. Joe Burrow coming for that MVP. Jamar Chase going to have a big year too. Definitely the best offense in football, led by those 2 guys. Chase Brown looks great too, and T. Higgins. They brought in Noah Fant, I believe, as well. So I think that defense with a little bit more help to Trey Hendrickson with Shamar Stewart. Cam Taylor Brickett's a year older. It can't be as bad as it was last year, right? But
You
they should
can't
have
that's the thing is that it can't be as bad as it was last year because, you gotta assume the defense does a little better, and the offense is obviously gonna do what the offense does, but even if it gets some 10, 11 wins, where like, when you get to the playoffs, you're not gonna be able to keep up
he is the one guy that's been able to get over the hump and beat Patrick Mahomes in the
with
AFC
the top
Championship
5
game.
defense in the league too. They held them to
Yeah.
what, 17 points, if that?
Yeah, it's crazy. So they're gonna have to take a big step forward, but I think they're poised for it. A little bit easier schedule this year too. I think that the Steelers take a little bit of a drop off. I think the Browns are going to be not as bad as we think, but they're still going to be in the bottom of the division with a lot of question marks and young guys on that side. But yeah, I got the Bengals. That's a crazy pick, I know, but I think they're going to be
It's
solid.
not crazy, it's just a lot of faith in Joe
Risky, yeah,
Burrow,
risky.
Jamar Chase, and
Hey, he showed
Chase
us he can
Young.
do it, but their crazy year last year didn't even get him into the playoffs, so they're gonna have some big shoes to fill on the defensive side of the ball. Some other teams I think could push for that top 5 spot, the Rams and the Niners. I think the Niners have a bounce back year. Yeah, they have some question marks, but they're still loaded, and McCaffrey looks very healthy. Purdy's a solid quarterback. You have Kittle.
Mhm.
That O-line's always great, and that defense is always pretty stacked too. Fred Warner and Nick Bosa leading the way. Kyle Shanahan's a very solid coach too. The Rams behind McVay, and you still got Stafford. You got Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. That young defense that really balled out, almost beat the Eagles in the playoffs in that snow game last year. Got to watch out for them. I think the Chargers with Harbaugh. I know they're pigeonholed in that division in the AFC West, but that's a really good team. I think Harbaugh's a strong one. Another guy that needs to figure out the playoff yips is Justin Herbert there too. Um, Other than that, though, I think some teams like the Vikings and the Packers, a
Mm.
lot of question marks for those ones.
You
So
like
I
JJ
can't.
McCarthy too much.
Yeah, a lot of question marks there. Can't put them up there yet. The Texans, I think, will have a solid year, but then again, they're in a light division. Another sleeper team that might be able to push there is those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're really, really stacked on that side. Let's not forget, they beat some really good teams last year in the regular season. They made it to the playoffs for so many years in a row. Offense is completely star-studded, like we touched on earlier, and that defense is still very, very strong. Antoine Winfield, Vita Vey, and a bunch of other names over there. So look for them to make a push as well. I think it's going to be a competitive year, and a lot of those teams can shift, but teams with Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes, that's why they're in my top 5, because when you have signal callers like that, you're always going to be in the mix.
I'm not talking top 5, but I think the Broncos are gonna be up there as well. I think they're definitely a playoff team again. I know barring Bo Nix sophomore slump, but I just don't see it. I think Sean Payton coaches him very
Great
well. I think
defense.
they have the offense on yeah, they have the weapons on offense, and their defense is probably top 5 in the league as well. Um, I wouldn't sleep on them, and they play the Chiefs very well. I know they're in a tough division, no really easy games. I guess you could say Vegas is kinda easy, but, they're gonna give you a fight for sure, but I wouldn't sleep on them. I think they're definitely a playoff team this year.
Chargers or Broncos? Who do you like to come out of that?
Broncos. Come on, you're
You like
asking the wrong
yeah,
person that
yeah, that's the
question.
wrong guy, but that's a very competitive game. Those 2 teams very, very similar in their makeup.
They'll
And
split, I think, but
yeah.
when it comes down to it, I don't
Can
think the
either of them
Broncos.
push the Chiefs to the division? A crazy line we have for the Chiefs to win the
Yeah,
West.
I mean, if we're talking about it, last year, Chiefs, what did they finish?
They didn't even
13 and
play well,
4?
and they still finished
They
great.
finished 13 and 4. Say they do the same thing again. I mean, you gotta assume a few balls don't go their way, and they finish 11 and 6 or 10 and 7. And you're at that point, you're definitely speaking like wild card team at that point. So, if anything, I would say the Broncos will win that division. I don't see the Chargers overtaking them, but I mean,
You got the Chiefs,
the
right?
odds of the
Yeah.
Chiefs gotta be like minus 300 at
Yeah,
least.
it's and I know Rasheed Rice is back this year. He's gonna sit out the first 6 games, another, breaking development as he's out the first 6 games of the season. That's alright though because you'll get him back when it really matters, that second half of the season, and he'll be healthy and rested. You got, Isaiah Pacheco back and healthy with Kareem Hunt in the mix. Expect Kelsey off of his fresh engagement. I know we're really hyped about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey getting engaged. We could spend the whole podcast talking about that, but, you gotta expect him to have a big year after they fell on their face in the championship game, so I think they're gonna have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, something they haven't had in a while. A little bit of resilience has to show out, and they're still led by the best quarterback and the best coach in the game right now. So I expect the Chiefs to win the division. But yeah, it's going to be a great season. Look for my Patriots to make a little bit of a jump. Hopefully, they can get into that playoff mix. Your Cowboys, I think, should have a solid year as well. So very interested to see how this NFL year plays out, but a lot to look forward to in the football season. We'll be back with our live streams on the weekend to help you guys out with your any questions you got for the day, betting, fantasy wise, a lot of different stuff. So make sure you're tuned in on TikTok for that, or wherever you get your live streams. But we're ready to get going on that. Great year ahead of us. Good luck in your fantasy drafts. But sticking in the football world, let's switch gears a little bit here, Mackie. Talking about some college football here. Um, who do you think is going to be a national championship dart throw? Do you have any you're eyeing early on? Is Arch Manning that guy? Do you see a repeat from Ohio State with the best defensive and also offensive player in the country? I know they got a new QB there. Any of these SEC schools like Alabama or Georgia stepping up, Michigan still in the mix, and who are you looking at this year?
I don't really love any dark horses. I mean, when you talk dark horse, what are you talking, like, outside top 10?
Yeah,
I don't really see any of those teams really making much noise. I don't love Alabama this year. I think Texas and Ohio State are the 2 best teams in the country, and we get
we
to see
get it
them
right
week 1,
away.
so that's
Yeah,
awesome. I think Ohio State's gonna win that game just because 'cause I'm gonna give it to home field advantage. I think if
yeah.
Texas is home, they'd win as well. Arch Manning will make a run at Heisman as well, but, Ohio State through and through might be the best team in the country. I think Penn State's overrated. I never liked Drew Aller. He's back, might be his 4th year now
Yeah,
starting,
another
so
year under his belt, and he's been in the
I
big
mean,
moments
he's
now.
gonna put up numbers, he's gonna do his thing. I just don't like him in the big moment. I don't like James Franklin in the big moment either, but that defense is one of the best in the league, or in the conference, I should say. Um, but I mean, no real sleepers here for me. I think Oregon has a good year. I know they're coming in with a new quarterback and everything, but
Yeah, does Ohio State's new quarterback frustrate you at all? Is that anything to be worried
Ohio
about,
State
especially
has
in this first game? I agree with you that the home field advantage plays massive, but the fact that it's an early game, I'm surprised it's not a night game here. That would have made it even tougher playing on the road. But Arch Manning had a glimpse, a taste of college football and the big games. New quarterback for Ohio State. You think he has the yips early on? Tough opponent.
it doesn't. I mean, it might matter week 1, yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter because Ohio State's defense is that good that, I mean, you throw any quarterback in there and with the weapons that they usually have. I'm not sure about their names on their roster this year. I haven't, done a lot of research on them, but that defense is just absolutely unbelievable year in and year out. I'm not even a fan of Ryan Day. I don't think he's a great coach. I just think the weapons that he has are just unbelievable. To go back to back is very hard. I'm not gonna say they're gonna do that, but they're gonna be right there.
Yeah, and we get to see 2 of the Heisman favorites taking part in that game right away too, so I know everybody's been hyped about this ever since it was announced all summer. I've seen the hype videos getting ready for this one, but Arch Manning and Jeremiah Smith going head to head. I know they're not playing against each other on the field, but those 2 guys in one game is so great to see, so I'm excited to see that. What about that quarterback out of USC? Does he have a chance to make a push for the Heisman? I believe he's one of the top names out there
The
too.
South Carolina quarterback, right?
Yeah, yep.
Shit, I forget his name.
Is it
I don't know.
Lenore?
I don't know his name, but yeah, I mean, he's the sole reason they're ranked in the top 15. I don't think South Carolina's gonna make much noise. I think they're only ranked that high solely because of him, but, they'll get some wins that they shouldn't. I mean, they're
Yeah,
playing the SEC. You're
it's
gonna
Lenore Sellers. I saw he's gonna be a big one this year, and a lot of people could see him flying up the draft board too. So
I
that's going
mean,
to be
if
another guy
he,
to keep an eye on.
that SEC schedule, you're going to be playing the best teams. He'll get a win or two against one of those top teams, and that'll be just enough for him to get up there in that draft. But I mean, South Carolina is not going to be making noise this year, I don't think.
Yeah, as a dual threat QB, though, definitely could push for a Heisman with some of the stats he'll be able to
It's like
accumulate.
a it's like a Lamar Jackson, Louisville type situation. Like they're not a
They're not
best
going to
team in
push
the
for a
league.
national championship, but he can push for a Heisman, a top draft
Yeah,
pick.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
that'll be fun to watch. A couple other games for this first weekend that we're highlighting: LSU versus Clemson and Notre Dame versus Miami. What's the better one to look at for this one?
Um, I'm gonna go LSU Clemson. I think Clemson comes out on top, but LSU 0-5 in their last 5 season openers after winning that 2019 national title. So that's something to look out for if you guys like trends. Um, but that should be a good one for sure.
Notre Dame, Miami. Miami moving on from Cam Ward, so we'll have to see how they're able to hold
A
on
lot of
without him.
question marks. A lot of question marks for that team. But Notre Dame coming off a national title appearance, I think they should bounce right back, and I'm gonna give it to Notre Dame there.
Yeah, one of the strongest teams in the country year in and year out. So that's going to be exciting. A full slate, though. We're excited to get into it. I'm sure Mackie and Huff will have some picks for you guys that will officially get out there. But I'm excited for some football and that Texas OSU game, man. That's just going to be absolutely dynamite, taking over the brunt of the day. But after that, we get some good games as well. So definitely looking forward to get some college football here in the mix. Shifting on to the NHL, out of the world of football here, there is actually some news here. I think some of the big things are that Olympic development camp for each country has been putting out their rosters. I don't know if you looked at the USA roster. Any thoughts on those invites there? Pretty hefty group there. I think 4 goalies, 5 sets of lines, 5 or 6 sets of lines, 5 or 6 pairs of defensemen too. So anybody you looking for to make the team that wasn't on that Four Nations face-off? I'm looking at some of these young guys like Tage Thompson and Cole Caulfield.
I'd have to go back and look at the list, but do you have it anywhere?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I saw a bunch of names that were added to it. One of the crazy ones that was left off to me was Lane Hudson. I thought after the rookie season he put up
Wow,
for,
really?
yeah, for
No
defenseman.
Tage Thompson either?
No, Tage Thompson got invited to the camp.
Okay.
Your guy, what's his name? Shane Pinto was invited to the camp too. That's
Was
pretty
he?
yeah, pretty
Good
interesting
for
to see.
him.
Yeah, I think 6 or 7 lines, like I said. There's a lot of guys
I mean,
invited this year.
they're gonna make a lot of cuts, yeah, but I mean, to even be, like, in that conversation, good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, it's awesome, especially as such a young guy. But I'm really hoping that Tage takes the spot here. Could see guys like Trocheck getting bounced from lineup, Brock Nelson as well. Kevin Hayes got invited, probably the oldest guy in the mix. So that's pretty cool to see too. No Patrick Kane. A lot of defensemen returning. And then for goaltenders, I think the only goalie they added was Joe Decord to the 3 that were on the Four Nations team, Ottinger, Swayman, and Hellebuck. Do you think Decord can push any of those goalies out of the mix?
No, I think the 3 are kinda set, but, just to be in that conversation, get that burn up there with the practice with those guys is pretty cool. I'm trying to look up this roster right now, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's going to be pretty electrifying, this Olympic tournament. Got to remember, there's no fighting this one, too, so that takes the Kachuk element a little bit out of it. They're going to be banging all game long, though, so they're going to be ready to go. I'm eager to see if Canada matches the physicality by inviting Tom Wilson. Obviously, we have no Team Russia in the Olympics as they're barred from competing with their world issues going on right now. So it's not true best on best, but I still think USA and Canada are the teams to beat. Obviously, Sweden and Finland will be right there in the mix as well.
Yeah, I just found it. 16 defensemen got invited. That's
That'd be
nuts.
that's pretty crazy camp, though. I mean, the amount of talent for Team USA is crazy, and it keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, dude, this is nuts.
A lot of young guys in the mix. I think Logan Cooley got invited as well. It's another guy that could be pushing for a roster spot.
How many defensemen do you think make it?
7.
7.
Yeah.
So you gotta think, I'm looking here at
McAvoy, Hughes, Werenski.
Fox, Hughes, McAvoy. That's 4 right there.
You think Fox makes it again after that tough, not a tough year, but from his standards,
I mean,
down year?
he's locked in. Regardless of if he deserves it or not, he's locked in to a spot. You gotta assume Brock Faber.
Yeah, he was on it last year. Jake Sanderson and
Jacob
ended up getting,
Slavin.
yeah, Slavin.
And
He's
then you have,
great.
you have, Sanderson, you have McDonough, you have Brady Shea, you have Alex Vlasic, Seth Jones.
It's crazy to me that Lane Hudson wasn't invited to this camp, though.
I mean, dude, the names here are just ridiculous. I mean, I think even if he was invited, he wouldn't make it.
I think a lot of the swaps are going to be more on the offensive side than the defensive side for Team USA. Like I said before, guys like Trocheck and Nelson, I could see going out. I think Thompson's going to be a lock to make this lineup this year. Caulfield, it'll be interesting to see if they go with him. I know he's a bit undersized, but he would be a
Skill
nice
guy. I mean,
skill guy.
on a team like this, you could use a guy like that.
We kind of saw Jack Hughes disappear a little bit. That's the undersized guy when it gets the best on best gets a little bit
Yeah, I guess
forgotten
you're
in the
right.
game.
You're right,
So
man.
that could be something to watch. Logan Cooley, another young member. Any other new names up front jump out to you?
Matt Boldy.
I like Boldy a lot.
Yeah,
He's
I'm big
great.
on him. Alex Tuck.
Yeah, Tuck's an interesting one too.
You got guys like Frank Nazar. I mean, you got
So young. Do you see the deal he signed with the Blackhawks too? I mean, so much guaranteed money with
how
like,
much did he get?
oh, I let me look up the Frank Nazar deal. But yeah, some of those other names pretty crazy. I like seeing the young guys um on this list. Let me look up the Frank Nazar
I mean, dude,
contract.
there's so many good names on here.
Yeah, he signed a 7-year contract worth 46.13 million, so
Oh,
an
that's so
average
sick,
salary of
dude.
almost 7 million, 7 years. And he hasn't
Good
even
for
played
him.
in the league that much, but they're loading up for their future, I guess, with that move. And it's a great cap hit if he does turn out the way this expected to.
Yeah, for sure. This
An
team's gonna be loaded. I'm
Yeah,
excited for this.
they should be able to take home a gold. We're itching for Team USA to beat Canada when it matters most, so that's gonna be so fun to watch. I think it's pretty cool that they're doing this extended camp too before the season starts. Another note for the NHL here, I don't know if you saw this one. Obviously, the Canadian Olympic camp will be underway here shortly too, but the Oilers plan to offer Connor McDavid the highest value deal in the NHL after that camp concludes, looking to get a September deal done before his contract expires, similar to Leon Draisaitl last year. But do you think it makes sense for him to stay in Edmonton? Are you happy that he's probably going to stay there? I think it makes sense.
I genuinely don't think he's gonna stay there unless they win.
I think he's going to sign that deal before the year starts.
He has an extension. They're gonna sign him to an extension.
Yeah, they said that they're assuming a lot of the looks are right now that right after this camp concludes, before the season starts, they're going to extend him with the highest deal in the NHL ever. Similar like they did with Draisaitl last year, lock him up before the year starts and kind of get that out of the way.
If you're McDavid, why would you stay?
I
You're
mean,
you're you're
he
9
wants to win there. He's a
you're 9
Canadian who's
years
young.
you're 9 years into the best start to a hockey career maybe ever.
And they just got to the cup twice,
Disregard
though. I think he wants to bring
You
one to
can't get over
Edmonton.
dude, think about if he goes to, like, one of those other teams, like, he can go to Florida if he really wanted to. They have no you could take a you could take a pay cut there because they have no
He's not taking a
state
pay cut.
tax. Why? They have no state tax. You make more there than you would in Edmonton,
I
making
think Connor
$3 million more
McDavid,
dollars.
as a hockey player, though,
You go to Tampa.
he wants to stay in Canada and win a cup with his team, show that he can do it.
I the problem is that Canada hasn't won a cup in, what, 20 something years.
Yeah, it's
He
Canada.
wants
What's
to
more
bring it to
likely,
Canada,
that
but,
or
like, he's also
anything else?
from Toronto. He can go to Toronto and do the same thing.
He does. Nobody
Don't wanna
wants to
see
go
him
to
in
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
I would pay so much money to see him in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I
I'm
remember that
holding on,
when
I'm
this was
holding on,
when
I'm
that season
holding
ended,
on.
people were like, "New York or Boston could make a push for McDavid." I'm like, "He's not leaving Edmonton."
Dude,
And I
I
don't know if
think he
you
could. I think he
I'd
could. Did you
I'd bet you the income
his
this year to
postgame dude, his postgame presser after that Stanley Cup, I mean, he
You think
no
he's leaving Leon Draisaitl? Did you see how much they were turning up at Draisaitl's wedding? He went on the honeymoon with them together. I don't think
business
he
is
wants to play with
business.
anybody else in
Business
the
is
world.
business. You don't think you'd rather play with Austin Matthews? I think him and Austin Matthews would be just as good.
Yeah, but I think he's sticking with Draisaitl. I think they have their eyes set on long-term extensions with high salaries and getting a cup to Edmonton. I think that's what their end goal is.
Well, better get it done because, for him not to have a cup at this point in his career is just insane. You'd think
I'll tell
he'd
you what, though, the fact, like, we're talking, like, yeah, they went to the cup the last 2 years and lost, but those weren't even good rosters. So you gotta think at some point, there's gonna be better goaltending
But
behind
how
them.
much are you gonna pay him and Draisaitl, and at what point do you have more money to offer?
Yeah, I know that there's not a lot of money to offer, but there's gotta be better goalies in the mix at some point in their tenure than what they've been rolling out to the
It's
cup the last
also,
few years.
I mean, you're in the NHL, pressure isn't really a good excuse, but I mean, for a lower end goalie to go in there and have to try to like bring not that you're like carrying them, but to have the pressure of getting McDavid his first cup with everything that he's doing. There's a lot of pressure for a goalie to
Yeah,
go into a
talk about
situation
pressure out
like
of
that.
anybody, Connor McDavid definitely has the most out of anybody in the
Yeah,
world,
but
but I
Connor
think
McDavid, it's natural to him.
yeah, I think he can
So,
handle it
I
too.
mean, but like goalies, I mean, dude, it's tough. I mean, especially when you get in your head, it's a lot of
What do you
pressure.
think he's gonna make, 13 million a year?
I think they're gonna have to offer more than that.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have the highest, maybe 15, that'd be
Yeah,
crazy,
dude.
but
I mean, this is the best player in the world, dude. This should be somebody who, 5 years down the line, they shouldn't be able to get more than him. Because what's he gonna
yeah.
sign? 8 years probably?
Yeah, something like that. I think he's staying there with Draisaitl for his career, at least for the next big length of it. So that we'll keep our eyes on that and keep you guys posted there. But some good stuff out of the hockey world there. let's shift into a league that's very much close to their playoffs, very heated. We touched on a little bit with our two teams playing strong right now, the Mets and the Red Sox. But we'll get into the MLB here. We'll start off with our power rankings here. Crazy list here though, because I do have five NL teams in the top five this week. I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, those Toronto Blue Jays are playing great baseball," but when I look at the best teams in the MLB right now, I've got the Brewers at one, the Phillies at two, the Cubs at three, and those two NL West teams battling for the division crown, the Dodgers and the Padres right there at 4 and 5. Um, those teams are all playing great baseball. Dodgers getting healthier too. We expect more names to come back for the playoffs. We saw Snell come back. We see Otani pitching. And they have a lot of the relievers right around the corner. Clayton Kershaw, I mean, dude, he's putting up a sub 2 ERA this month. He has like a low 2 ERA on the year. He picked up his ninth win yesterday, 9-2 on the season. It's great to see the GOAT, one of the best pitchers of all time, still doing his thing, throwing 80 miles an hour and fooling hitters left and right. Brewers have been complete dynamite. The Phillies, you and the Phillies, you guys are competing for that NL East title. They're still a
We're
great
we're
team, though.
trying to make it a race. We were
How
down
big do you
7.
think the Zach Wheeler injury is, though? That's a massive loss for the year.
I mean, in terms of making a World Series run, I think it's massive. I think that they don't wanna say it takes them out of contention, but to lose your ace like that, you don't really see many teams recover and win a World Series from that.
But they do have the arms behind them to back it up. Sanchez and
But
Suarez are really good.
you need your ace.
Yeah, I agree, but if one team can still rebound and make a pretty good push, it would be them. Sanchez and Suarez, 2 great starters, and then Luzardo really coming on and showing how good he is, and they picked up Duran. I knew he blew the save last night, but that's a great closer to bring in as well, and we know how well they can hit the ball. Bryson Stott starting to turn it up a little bit too. I'm still not believing these Brewers. I know we have the number 1 in our power rankings, but when it gets to the postseason, I see them as an early exit.
Agreed, agreed.
Yeah. Mizorowski, showing that he might not have been the best all-star pick right away, but he's still got a bright future ahead of him, and that team's playing great baseball. They brought in a guy like Andrew Vaughn, a nice veteran, to put into the lineup. The
It's
Cubs,
the NL's tough because I mean, you look at the 6 teams that are in right now, and I think any single one of them can make it out of the NL.
can the Padres beat the Dodgers when it matters most, though?
If they might not even have to match up against them, so at that point, that would help them out, but, um
Do you think either of these teams even cares if they don't take the division title? I think they steamroll whoever they get in the wild card. If they end up clinching the wild card,
No,
whoever,
dude, I
maybe.
think anybody can beat anybody, I really do. I think right now, you'd get Mets, Dodgers, Padres, Cubs.
Yeah, I mean,
You
talking
take
about
I think anybody can win those series.
it's gonna be an electric race between the Dodgers and Padres. We saw the matchup the other day. The Dodgers handling that season series against them pretty well, but this Padres team is really strong. They brought in some good pieces too. I just don't know if they can ever get over the hump. A team that's so good but fades in the playoffs, similar to like the Ravens or the 76ers of years past, or the Edmonton Oilers, teams that are really good but can't figure it out when it matters most. Speaking of the Cubs, we have them in our top five, rightfully slow. I know they have Matthew Boyd putting up a great year, and Shota is a great pitcher too, but they're without their ace too, and Justin Steele. I know they have the bats to complement that. Michael Busch having a great season. PCA, he slowed down a little bit in the second half, and Kyle Tucker. A lot of great bats there too, but do you think they can make noise without Justin Steele?
I was speaking about another team that loves to choke. I know they won in 2016, ending a 101-year drought or
Yeah.
whatever it was, but haven't seen much success from them since, and when they do get there, they just kinda dwindle out. Like I said, I could see any of these NL teams winning, but when you break it down, I don't think that the Cubs would be able to get over that hump and take all these teams down. I mean, it's such a tough race, dude. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be a great one. Your Mets right there in the mix too, not making the cut right here. And then talking about the AL a little bit, the Blue Jays still have that stranglehold in the AL right now, holding the AL East. But my Red Sox have been on absolute fire. Led by, I have a note here, Aroldis Chapman is on a 13 appearance streak of scoreless outings, including a streak of at least one strikeout in 10 consecutive appearances and converting his last four save chances since July 26. On the year, he has a 1.06 ERA and a 0.69 WHIP. Um, in 2025. Is this the best season of his career? At 37 years old, introduced that sinker, throwing the ball 104 miles an hour and whatnot. So, is
I
this
think
his
with
best
numbers
career?
like
Yeah.
that, it's hard to argue that this isn't the best year of his career, but at 37, it's just absolutely insane that he's doing this. I said it earlier, I said the Red Sox, if not the scariest, definitely the scariest team in the AL as of late since the
AL's wide
All-Star
open
break.
too.
I just don't think there's many competitors in the AL. I think,
The Astros.
Tigers are not gonna get there. I think Blue Jays yes, they have the roster, but Blue Jays do the same thing. They choke every year. Astros could do the Astros. They're always kind of
That's a good
in play.
organization.
Last year they were a first round bounce, but it's still the Astros. I think the Red Sox are the scariest team in the AL right now by far. Yankees don't really scare me much. Mariners don't scare me much.
The Yankees bullpen, man, they've been an Achilles heel for them all year, but they still are able to hit home runs, especially in their smaller ballpark. They've just been tearing the cover off the ball. Stanton coming back around. Ben Rice looking like a stud. Trent Grisham, too. My Red Sox, though, way ahead of schedule. Roman Anthony, he's going to be the face of baseball in a few years. That guy's been absolutely dynamite. Alex Bregman, the veteran appearance. And then Lucas Giolito threw an 8-inning gem a couple nights ago. He's been a great resurgence. Him and Brian Bayo, alongside Garrett Crochet, who I think is going to win the AL Cy Young this year over Tariq Skubal, has been great to add to the mix. And then other young guys stepping up to the plate for the Red Sox as well. And then, oh yeah, they picked up Nathaniel Lowe, who was placed on waivers DFA by the Washington Nationals. He's hitting like 400 since joining the team. So just another bat to add to the lineup. But a very young and unproven team. Yeah, they have some veterans that have been there and done that, but they were definitely ahead of schedule. And then the Mariners are another team you're going to watch out for, sitting in that third wild card spot behind the Red Sox and Yankees. They added a lot at the deadline. They have a great pitching staff, great closer too. I'd keep my eyes on them as well.
Right now we would get Mariners, Astros, Sox, Yankees.
That'd be so
That would
dynamite.
be so sick.
Yeah, we need that. The Red Sox Yankees in playoffs. I mean, best rivalry in sports, in
It
my
sucks because
opinion.
it would be a 3-game series, but
It would be absolutely nails, though. And the Red
yeah.
Sox have had their way with them after that nice
Oh yeah.
series lately. They've been
Red
shutting them
Sox own
down
the Yankees right now.
rent free in their head, and a lot of young gamers. I think the Red Sox haven't even peaked yet, so good to see them continuing their dominance. Quick note on the Blue Jays: we saw Shane Bieber take his first start with them, and he was absolutely electric, pitching a quality start for them. That was a great ad, I think, at the deadline. A guy who was once one of the best pitchers in the MLB coming back looking truly dominant. You got Mad Max, Vladdy Guerrero, George Springer's having the year he's having. A lot of young bats stepping up alongside them too. Bo Bichette having a solid year as well. So it's nice to see those Blue Jays coming about. Bo Bichette and Trevor Story, two guys that turned it around this year at the shortstop position in the AL East. Who would have thought? Not those Orioles. It's the Blue Jays right there with the Red Sox and the Yankees. One more note here in the MLB, a crazy one. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, home run derby champ, just continues breaking records. He set the MLB single season record for most home runs by a catcher, hitting his 49th and 50th home runs to break the previous record of 48 by Sal Perez in 2021. This guy's absolutely dynamite. First player in MLB history, too, to hit at least 20 home runs from both sides of the plate. The switch hitter, we kind of showed that off in the home run derby, showing he can hit it from both sides. That guy's absolutely great. And they added bats around him, too. So can this team make any noise in the playoffs? I think they could.
I don't think so. I think that they're gonna run into. At this point, they'll look at the Astros as division rival. I guess it gives them a bit of a better chance, but I don't love this Mariners team. They have Cal Raleigh, they have Suarez, they have
Randy Rosarina, Josh Naylor. The
yeah.
pitching staff's just loaded, though, with Castillo, Brian Wu, 25 straight, 6 innings pitched, quality starts. That's pretty crazy. What a
Wow, I
year
didn't know
he's
that.
yeah.
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah, 25 straight solid appearances from Wu, and he's only in his mid-20s, too, so he's nice to come along. They got
Pitching
Kirby
staff.
there. The pitching staff's nasty. Bryce
It's
Miller's
not.
back in the
It's not.
mix.
It's not. I mean, ERAs. You got Brian Wood 2.94. Obviously, that's great. Um,
But the
After
names,
that,
though,
you're
those
looking
those are
at
those are those are aces, though. Castillo, Kirby, and Miller. Those are good pitchers to have alongside Wu.
you just can't trust like sub 4 ERAs.
And have they ever done this before? No. So it'll be interesting. They got Munoz closing games out
Exactly.
too. But they have the hitters, clutch hitters that can show up. Randy Rosarino, we saw how good he was that run with the Rays. He's a nice bat to have in the lineup as well. So
You're the rookie then.
yeah, I wouldn't count them out though. Like we said, the AL is wide open. Meanwhile, the NL is clustered up with a lot of star-studded teams. But it'll be interesting to follow these playoffs because anybody can come out of it on both sides. Just keep our fingers crossed. We get a Mets and Red Sox World Series. That'd be awesome.
That'd be nails.
Yeah, but that's all.
86 rematch.
Yeah, that's all about we had on the slate today for the pod. Like we said, a lot of NFL coming, the NCAA football heating up, getting here week 1 starting up this week. We had some nice games last week and that we were able to catch football. We're so excited that the NFL is back, and then the playoffs. We're close to another sports equinox here with the NHL, NFL, MLB, and NCAA getting underway on the same day here in just over a month. So a lot of sports to look forward to. Some good stuff going on in the golf world as well. I believe they have that cup between America and is it England or Europe? That's like a month away. So we'll get into that more as we get there. But I believe they announced the rosters for that too. So that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, we could talk about that next week with Huff too, because I'm sure he's going to want to talk about that.
Yeah, that'll be good. But like we said, a lot coming. Make sure you're tuned into our socials. We'll be posting our plays across all the leagues. Tune into our live stream as well. We're going to be breaking down the football world for you, these playoffs in the MLB. A lot of stuff to come. We're excited to get going with you guys on another year here. Thanks for tuning in.